everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm Rick Russell alongside head coach Jonathan Calder. Tonight we're going to talk about last Friday's game against the Bellaire Big Reds. Also going to talk about tomorrow night's opponent, the 2-0 River Pilots. And we got a couple special guests. But before we dig too deep into the River Pilots and bring our special guests on, let's talk just briefly, Coach, about this Bellaire Big Reds football game. I tell you that Raekwon Pettigrew is the real deal, man. He is fast. So Darren actually asked me what I thought he ran in the 40. I said 4-point fast.
What? That sounds about right, yeah. I mean, we knew going in that he was pretty fast. And when game plan for him, I thought the game plan actually worked pretty decently. We just, missed tackles on it. You miss a tackle on that kid, he's gone.
So,
and it did, yeah. We kind of bottled him up, had a pretty good first half, I thought. Actually, they got the ball second half. We forced a 3 and out, got the ball back and fumbled. Of course, he picks it up, runs back for a touchdown. So I thought we played kind of, some decent football here and there. It wasn't good enough all the time. It was kind of similar to the first week, just played good in spurts and then have some bad things happen. But that's a heck of a team. I mean, you mentioned 22. That kid can fly. There's no doubt about that. Probably the fastest kid we'll see for sure all year.
Yeah, he seemed like a really good kid too. He actually, after Ashton kind of laid him out over there on their sidelines, he laid there for a bit, come right back in, tough kid.
Yeah.
And he come over to me holding the clipboard and said, "Man, you guys hit."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And he talked, all night long. So seemed like a great kid, but it's hard to keep an athlete like that down.
It is. But we could have ran the ball better. Just like I said, we'd have some good plays, and then we get pushed back, and we just couldn't stay ahead of the chains. We only ended up with 13 rushing yards, which that can't happen honestly here. We're not, especially with a talented kid like that, you got to keep the ball away from him. So we had to have much more ball control. We ended up throwing for some yards, and some of those were on their twos and things like that. But I think we play first half like we did against them. We could beat a lot of teams, but we got to play that consistently all the time, so that they've got to keep putting that together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as bad as it seems, Coach, 0-2. Give all these kids in here all the credit in the world, Let's not lose track of, no excuses, but let's not lose track of us losing 13 seniors from, we talked about this last week.
Yeah, no, I know.
But let's not lose track of that, but, we still have to pick up where they left off.
Yeah.
We've been unable to do that, if someone wants to step up on this team and maybe put a foot forward and be the leader, and everyone else kind of follow, I think we're going to see that here in week 3, because I know how important it is for these kids to beat the River Pilots.
Yeah.
It's a very big rivalry. These kids go to school together at Swiss Hills, bragging rights. So looking forward to that, Coach. But before we jump into that River Pilot football team and the game tomorrow night, let's take a short break, and then when we return, we'll be with our first guest of the evening, Max Dimchek. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're here with our first guest of the evening, number 12, Max Dimchek. Max, thanks for taking time out of your night to be with us. Really appreciate it. Listen, bud, we suffered our second loss of the season last Friday. We all know this is a team sport, but it's really hard to overlook the performance that you had. Matter of fact, you finished with 4 receptions, 108 yards. One of those catches was 34-yard touchdown. It's got to feel good. I know it took us a while, but we kind of got in the rhythm there later in the game. But we got a big game coming up tomorrow night. So getting in this rhythm had to help your confidence and Cooper's confidence and the whole confidence of the team. So what was the importance of that rhythm?
I think just the rhythm, just changing up some plays maybe here and there, and just, me and Cooper have been friends for a long time, so our connection It's just there,
Mhm.
I guess, and for, them worrying so much about number 42 Corbin Farnsworth, because he's a big man, big receiver, I kind of just opened up for me to make a play.
Yeah, it's always nice to be that number 2 receiver. Try to double cover someone like Corbin. If someone's going to be wide open,
Yeah.
or open. So, you had another touchdown as well. Matter of fact, you had 2 touchdowns in the span of 4.5 minutes. You had that punt return for a touchdown, 52-yarder. And you're not a very big kid. You never really have been. I've known you for a long, long time. It's got to be frightening back there, knowing you're just kind of a sitting duck with that ball in the air. So it's clear that you have no fear, because you've made some really good hits on defense as well this year. You've come a long, long way on that side of the ball. But what's it like back there, returning punts and keeping that role on this football team?
I think just after being there for a year, it's just kind of like second nature. You try to catch the ball, and if you're open, I'm going to make a play.
Yeah.
That's about all it is.
Coach and I are really good friends. We talk throughout the summer often, and the last couple of years he's been harping on your hands and how well you catch the ball and how well you move with the ball in your hand. And like I mentioned, you're not a very big kid, So you've had to work on a few things to get to this point. Can you give can you let us know a little bit about what you've done?
Well, just when I was little, me and my brothers always had pads. We'd play in our yard and just trying to get away from 2 older guys because I had to make a move or I was getting crushed.
Yeah. Well, now you can probably deliver that crush back to them. Absolutely. So last week we had Braden Stempert on the show. Braden's a senior, of course, and we talked a little bit about leadership. And you're just a junior, but you don't have to be a senior to be a leader on this team. And you look at your first 2 years, we've had your freshman year, we had Dalton Phillips, who was kind of the vocal leader on this football team. And then last year, we had Logan, who's vocal.
Yes.
And also, you throw Whitaker in the mix as being a leader. But, in the first couple of games, it's kind of hard for me. I'm not in this locker room. It's kind of hard for me on the sidelines to really see who that leader is. You know what I mean? Someone's going to have to step up and turn this thing around for us. But what can you do, from a leader standpoint? I know you're just a junior, but that means nothing. What can you do better to help lead this football team?
I think just be more vocal. For the younger freshmen and everything, I just got to be more vocal, talk to them, make sure they're not in their own head or scared in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Just got to be there for them.
Yeah, we talked about that last week as well. These younger kids need to see that. They need to see a leader. When they get older and become upperclassmen, maybe they'll feel like they need to be that person. So, continue pushing these younger kids and setting a good example. I know your parents and your family real well. Clear back in my days in high school, I worked with your grandpa at BP in Woodsfield, and your grandma as well, and put in a ton of hay out there at the farm. Kind of glad you guys built that house for me.
Took some hay.
Took some hay out there. I don't have to tell you the importance of tomorrow night's football game. You've been in this program for 3 years now. You've played basketball for the Knowles. We don't really care much for that team down there on the river. So what do we need to do? Let me tell you this. When they had those 2 Isley boys there, they kind of had a number. You know what I mean? In the last couple of years, we've been able to turn that back around. It's a great feeling, man. A great feeling. What do we need to do tomorrow night to walk off Larry Field with a win?
I think we need to take the fight to them. Most definitely. We can't be scared to run up and make a play, make a tackle. I think that's just been our problem the past 2 weeks. Everyone's not running up to make a tackle. We're just kind of standing, waiting around. We need to go up there. We need to hit them hard. We need to establish our run game and then maybe throw in a couple passes every once in a while.
Yeah, here we set at 0-2, which is kind of uncharacteristic of us, and Rivers at 2-0, so they're scoring some points. We're going to have to be ready for certain. They're a well-coached football team. Coach, you got anything to add?
Yeah, you talked about Max's size. For anyone that's kind of wondering about playing football or kind of nervous about playing football because they might be a smaller kid, you look at this guy right here. Ever since he started Coach Trooper, Coach Trooper would always say he has a little bit of dog in him. You know what I mean? That's what he'd always say about Max, and he does. You talk about him coming up and making tackles. He's honestly one of our surest tacklers on the outside. You know, he doesn't really miss too many tackles. So, you love to see that out in a smaller kid. And like I said, there's always that question with kids that are smaller. They're kind of nervous about playing football and things. But like I said, if you watch him play, that should take all those questions out of the kid that's thinking about it. But as far as his ability on the football field, he's gotten better and better each year. You talk about punt returns, and once he gets in the ball in his hands, he's pretty electric with it. He jukes and puts some moves on guys. There's a couple times I wish he'd just go down or get out of bounds a few times because he's not real big. I don't want him taking too many unnecessary shots. Yeah. But most of the times he makes those guys miss, so it's all good. But I knew coming in the season he was going to be our main weapon, one of our main weapons. I've talked to news guys about that and newspaper guys, but he's someone we want the ball in his hands because he can make things happen, every single play. So, hopefully moving forward we can get that done. And then you talk about him and Cooper, and he said they're best friends, that they're getting a better chemistry. Because Cooper's really never been a quarterback besides this year, so he's getting more of a chemistry with Max and with everyone. But look forward to seeing this year. They can continue that, get stronger, and he can make some big plays for us, not only in punt returns, but at the receiver spot.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it was great to see that rhythm late in the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of started to come together. We look much better.
Yeah.
That's for dang sure.
Yeah.
And the thing about him too, Coach, is like I can't recall off the top of my head the stats from the Liberty Union game, but I believe they're pretty darn close as
Yes.
far as the receptions and the tackles. So he's been pretty consistent. So. That's all we had, buddy. How was it? This is round 2 for you, right? You did it last year, so you're like a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Listen, I wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. Go Noles. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be with our second guest of the evening. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're here with our second guest of the evening, Gabe Eng, number 26. A lot of you are probably looking at the screen thinking that's an unfamiliar face, and it is. Gabe came from Beltsville this fall, and he's fit right in. One thing I noticed is I kept the clock for the JV game, and when the varsity came out to watching film, you're right in there amongst them, passing the ball, kind of chuckling life and having a good time. Yeah. That's great for someone coming in here and just kind of blind, for the guys that take you under the wing and treat you as one of them. Tell us a little bit about the transition from Beltsville to Monroe Central.
At first it was hard. Beltsville getting shut down and everything. But after a few practices, talking with people and stuff, it just kind of came naturally, after a while, made friends. Yeah.
These are a good bunch of kids, man, without a doubt. Now, the past 2 weeks, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, you've been pretty busy, and just like Max, pretty consistent. You finished last week with 4 receptions for 37 yards. So explain to us how you've adapted to the new quarterback in Coop, this program, and your new teammates.
With Cooper, practices, just getting reps, and I guess just seeing how he is, how he is throwing the ball and stuff. It just kind of after a while, you get used to it, get used to your QB. Teammates wise, just practicing with them has helped to make me adapt to it. And yeah.
So defensively as well, you finished with 4 tackles, and I know coaching schemes. I'm sure coaching schemes here are a lot different than they were at Beltsville, and Beltsville's different here and what have you. But what have these Monroe Central coaches taught you, not only defensively but offensively too? What have you learned? What's your biggest takeaway thus far?
Defensively, just tackling wise, getting good form and all that. Offensively, I mean, like different patterns, just like different formations and everything that work. And I mean, Friday night we will show it.
I do too. It's a good answer.
So, take nothing away from Bellsville and their schedule. You know, they're a smaller school, D7. But here at Bellaire Central, you've seen in just the past 2 weeks, you've seen some larger schools with, 40, 45 kids on the sideline, bigger kids, faster kids than I'm sure you were used to coming over here. What have you done, I guess, to prepare yourself for that and adapt it to just the speed of the game? It's got to be a lot quicker for you.
Yeah, I mean, just pushing myself, practice into games. I mean, there's really no way to like mentally prepare yourself, but like, I mean, there's always a way. But like, just pushing yourself as far as you can, and just being ready for it.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard in this locker room too, the rivalry that we face tomorrow night down in Hannibal. A very big rivalry. They're 2-0. They're coming off a win against Buckeye Local, 21-12, I believe. So they can put up a few points. What are we going to have to do tomorrow to finally get over that hump, to finally get our first win?
We're just gonna have to eliminate the small mistakes that we make, and then just play ball. We're gonna have to do the little things right, and then big plays will happen.
Perfect. Good answer, man. Coach, you got anything to add on here?
That's a great answer. I love that answer.
We'll have them back on.
Yeah, I always
on next week, but
We always talk about how little things add up to big things. So that's a great answer. But it was an unfortunate situation with Bellsville. Of course, I always respected that program, but it was a fortunate thing for us in this locker room to get as good a football player as Gabe is. And not only a good football player, just a great human being. Good in the locker room, always had a smile on his face. The first time I met him, he's joking, he was saying he didn't know where he was going to go and blah, blah. Well, you should probably come here. And he showed me one of his clips, and I mean, you could tell right away he was a football player, just struggling to get yards, pushing himself, spinning off people, just fighting to get yards. So I was like, man, I really hope he comes and just talk to him about the program. And luckily he came here and couldn't be happier, really. Like I said, he always has a smile on his face. Seems like he loves football, loves to be here, pushes himself in practice, and that's been showing up in games. You mentioned some of the stats there. And I think as the year goes on, he's going to get more comfortable with everything, and the players are going to get more comfortable with him. He's going to get more reps and more passes. And we've been putting him in. He probably knows every single position on the offense. So, and that's a good thing. In small school football, you have to have that. And we're not much bigger than Bellsville, honestly. I mean, we have about 33 kids. So with that amount of kids, you got to learn every position. We talk about that all the time. And he's willing to put that work in and learn them. So I couldn't be happier with his choice to come over here. And like I said, it's an unfortunate thing that happened, but we've turned it into a good thing, I hope, with Gabe here. So yeah, it's been nothing but good things.
Yeah, Gabe and I talked before we come on air, and this is his third high school.
Yeah.
So he's hoping this is last, and that's what we said in there. We hear him so too, man.
It's no hoping it is going to be his last. All right, it's going to be his last, and I think he's going to have a great future.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, man, I enjoy watching you out there. You're going to get acclimated to this program, and you're going to learn what it takes to win. And like I told you, you step foot in this locker room now, but you're welcome back here any time. You're starting that. So I wish you nothing but the best tomorrow night, man. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Make sure these guys stay up and ready to play some football.
We will be.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go over a few of the highlights from the Bellaire Big Reds football game. Cooper out with a pick six.
Cooper does a good job of reacting to the tip ball and running it back for a touchdown.
A.J. Rutter with a nice pickup through the air.
AJ grabs the bubble screen and does a nice job of picking up some yards.
Lucas Stiver with a nice pickup on first down.
Here we run a counter, and Stiver picks up 6 yards.
Cooper Howe picks up the first down.
Cooper does a great job of following his blockers for the first down.
Cooper Howe to Corbin Farnsworth for 10 yards.
Corbin runs a slant route and picks up some nice yardage.
Owen Howard with a tackle for a loss.
We get some nice penetration from a few knolls, and Owen makes the stop.
Cooper to Corbin again for a nice gain.
Here Cooper hits Corbin on a short pass, and Corbin takes it for the long gain.
We get a stop for a loss here from a host of Seminoles.
We get some good push from the D-line and get the stop in the backfield.
Braden Baker with a big stop for a loss.
Braden fires up the ball and gets the tackle for a loss.
Gabe Ing with a big catch.
Gabe shows great hands coming down with the catch.
Jet Kaiser with a tackle for a loss.
We have some nice contain on the quarterback, and Jet comes up to get the tackle.
Ashton Lumbatis with a huge hit on the sidelines.
Ashton shows some great hustle and finishes with the big hit.
Cooper Howe with great coverage.
Cooper reads the deep out and does a great job of batting the ball down.
Jet Kaiser shuts down the screen pass.
He did a great job of reading his keys and making the play.
Gabe Ing with another great catch.
Gabe, once again, with the great catch in traffic.
Cooper Howe with a tough run.
Cooper breaks a few tackles for a nice gain.
Gabe Ing again, showing off the good hands.
Yep, another great catch by Gabe.
Ashton and Owen combined for a tackle in the backfield.
They both fire through their gaps and get the stop.
Cooper Howe and Max Demchuk.
Max with the big gain through there.
Once again, Cooper Howe and Max Demchuk.
Cooper does a great job of hitting Max down the seam for the touchdown.
Max Demchuk with a long punt return for a touchdown.
Max does a nice job of following his blocks all the way to the end zone.
When we return, we will preview this week's opponent, the 2-0 River Pirates. Welcome back to the show. Coach, tomorrow night we face the 2-0 River Pirates coming off the win last week against Buckeye Local 21-12. We know they're going to be a great coach football team, talented. You know that they're 2-0,
Yeah.
and they've scored some points. So let's talk a little bit about them offensively and defensively and some of the key players.
Yeah, they offensively they do this a lot of the same things they've been doing the last 2 or 3 years. They'll spread it out. They like to get the quarterback out of the pocket. The Thompson boys at quarterback this year looks good. He throws a nice ball, makes good decisions. And then they also get, literally foot to foot on the offensive line, run that wedge.
You've seen that a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too many times, honestly. And then looks like Flannery's got a new thing in his bag of tricks where they run a wing tee, kind of like 4 for eye, a lot of misdirection and stuff. We've never really seen them run much of that, so that seems to be maybe something new for them. But they're much better than they were last year, much improved team than they were last year. They've had 2 wins, like you said. They've scored a lot of points. We really just got. I think on defense, I think they'll get a lot of foot to foot with us. They'll do a lot of the run plays. I think they'll try to control the ball. So we've got to score points on offense, take care of the ball for one thing. No fumbles, no turnovers, and we've got to be able to put our own drives together. That's something that we haven't really had the long sustained drives to get this year. So that's something I think for us we have to do against them. But no, they're a much better team than they were last year. They've got a couple of nice interior linemen on defense that do a good job. The Roberts boy, that's number 75. I can't think of his name, but both of them guys do a good job on defensive line. And they've got some nice back end players, some quick players on corner and safety. So I think it's gonna be a good matchup for us. like I said, much better than they were last year.
Yeah, good, Coach. I mentioned earlier, one of the kids, they had our number for years, it seemed, Every year we played them, they had Nisley on their roster, and, great football family and knowledge and smart football players, but we've kind of regained some of that back the last couple of years, so definitely looking forward to trying to keep that edge.
Yeah, I am too. I had a guy call me over the week for the Intelligencer newspaper about an interview, and he mentioned this is the 50th meeting, and I didn't have any idea. So I looked it up, and sure enough, this is the 50th meeting between Woodsfield and Monroe Central together. 50th meeting of Woodsfield and Monroe Central versus River. So I thought that was pretty cool. So hopefully on the 50th meeting we can whoop their butt.
Great little tidbit.
Yeah.
Really mean a little more.
Yeah, I hope so.
Getting a win, Coach, would mean a lot.
It sure would. It sure would. Yeah.
And there's no doubt in my mind these kids will be ready. I'm certain of that.
They will be.
Coach, let's take another short break, and then when we come back, we'll talk some of the dates, upcoming events, and then Coach will give us his final comments on the Monroe Central football team and their game tomorrow night against River Pirates. Welcome back, everyone. I'll keep this kind of short, being it's a away game, home game. We got so much stuff going on, football on the sideline, there's the field goal kick,
Yeah, a million.
ton of things. But this week we don't have a whole lot. So just a reminder to everybody that there will be a JV game. It'll be at home on Monday, September 8th at 6 p.m. against River. So come out and watch the JV team, give them your support. There's some youth games. They'll be this Saturday. They'll also be here at Woodsfield. 3rd and 4th graders play at 5 p.m. and the 5th and 6th graders play at 7 p.m. Kids might get a little under the lights.
That's right.
Night.
That's right. They love that.
Coach, you got any final comments on this week?
Yeah, I mean, I know the kids are looking forward to this game. Not just because it's River. Of course, because it's River, but we're 0-2. We're in a hole. We've talked about that all week. That we're in a hole and we got to come out fighting and swinging, claw our way back into this playoff race, down the stretch. But I look forward to it because just the way this game usually plays out. The crowd, the players. It's usually a fun one. It used to be a fun one to watch all those years. It's been a fun one to coach. So I look forward to it, and I know these players are really ready. And hopefully we can make this community proud and go down there and get a big win.
I'm ready for it too, Coach. Max and I talked briefly on the rhythm that him and Coop had late in the game, and then granted most of that was against their twos. I get that, but that had to give them some confidence, and things looked well. And listen, Bellaire, they're going to win a pile of football games.
Yeah, they are.
There probably won't be too many opponents they play where they don't have the best athlete on the field. So, no reason to hang our head on that loss. Sure, it's tough, but we've got to keep our feet on the ground and keep pushing forward, put it behind us, and go for a win.
That's right.
Tomorrow night against River. So, Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck tomorrow night. Please make sure you guys join us next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Appreciate the support. Go Noles.